Hello and welcome back to Parnell Park. That's if you were with us earlier on Dubs TV for the Junior A Hurling Championship final between St Bridget's and Lucan Sarsfields, which ended in the final scoreline of St Bridget's 17 points, Lucan Sarsfields 1 goal and 13 points. A very exciting finish to that game. In fact, Kieran O'Sullivan for St Bridget's scoring a penalty, taking the point in the very last minute to win that game by a single point after Colin Behan had equalised for Lucan Sarsfields coming into the final stretch. We turn our attention now to the Dublin Intermediate Hurling Final, which is all about Fingal, the North County, as Fingallians from Swords prepare to battle it out against Naomh Mearnóg from Portmarnock, and what's bound to be a keenly fought decider. And of course, it's games like this which emphasise the beauty of the group system in the Championship these days, rather than straight knockout as it was before, because these two teams came from the same group. Fingallians having 7 points to spare when they first met on the 18th of July, some 2 months ago now. The question is, have Naomh Mearnóg improved enough since then to close the gap, or did the fact that their earlier match took place in Lawless Park and Swords help sway the issue in Fingallians' favour? Well, the next 60 minutes plus should tell the tale. Let's have a look at the two teams now. We start with Fingallians. In goals is Shane Nolan, the full backline of Alex Smith, Ian Kennedy and David Fagan. The halfbacks Owen Howard, Shane Howard and Barry Rogers. In midfield is Donna Williams and Sean Hickey. The half forward line of Dara Power, Peter Daly and Derek Rogers, and the full forward line of TJ Howard, Danny Lynch and Owen O'Connor. And looking at their subs, they'll have at 16 David Cullen, 17 Darren Green, 18 Gavin Howard. Then we have Conor Byrne at 19, 20 Cian O'Brady, 21 Owen Brady, 22 Paul Graves, 23 Richie Hennessy, 24 Richie Fleming, 25 Michael Rock, 26 Connell Shaw, 27 Dara Foley, 28 Dara Beresford and 29 Craig Smith. Moving on to Naomh Mearnóg, they have in goals Bobby Smith, the full backline Mark O'Callaghan, Niall Cafferty and Owen Kelly. He's known as Owen Kelly Jr., no relation to Owen Kelly Sr. I think it's more to do with just age than anything else. At the half backline they have Tom Cosgrove, Cian Hendricken and Cian O'Daly. The midfield is Liam Mullen and Shane Kavanagh. Half forward line Shane Nangle, Ronan Lenihan and Dermot Keevy, and the full forward line Gavin Nangle, Mark Phelan and Jack Keogh. And their subs, they don't have a sub goalkeeper, not an official one anyhow, wearing the number 16. They had a 17 Davy Byrne, 18 Chris Farley, 20 Chris O'Sullivan, 21 Dylan Kilbride, 22 Adam Ryan, 23 Ross Hayden, 24 Sam Corcoran, 25 Tommy Canaan, 26 Brian McCarthy, 27 Shane Warren, 28 Stephen McCudden and 29 Jack O'Leary. Well, conditions today are certainly going to be a factor in this match. It's a very, very strong breeze blowing from the golf club end straight down the pitch, almost down towards the church end, the Donacarney end, and from time to time the blustery nature of it is actually taking everyone by surprise. You might even hear it sometimes, I think, even in our microphone system, but it is very, very strong. Now they're warming up just down there at the moment, the Fingallians in their red and white to the right hand side, and they'll have an indication as they're warming up how strong that breeze is, because they're playing into it now just at the moment as they're warming up. And down on the left hand side we have Naomh Mearnóg, so they'll be using the advantage of the breeze for them for the moment. The sun has come out, that's one plus factor. Otherwise it's a wintry sort of a day here in Donacarney. Hard to believe that we've been having high summer for the last few days, and now suddenly, along with the lockdown or the half lockdown, we've suddenly come back to these kinds of conditions. But it is very, very cold out there just at the moment, and it's hard to know if that'll be a factor for a lot of players. Some players do wear the glove, other players don't, but their hands are going to certainly take a bit of a pounding today in this cold weather. The referee for today's game will be Terry Carton. Terry is from Naomh Fionn, and he's out there in the centre of the field. He's wearing the blue. Naomh Mearnóg, of course, wearing their amber and black stripes. They were here a week ago as well with their footballers, so a lot of them, in fact there's about 5 or 6 of them that had experience with the footballers, either playing last weekend for them or being involved as subs for that game. And Owen Kelly was there, Tom Cosgrove, Cian O'Daly, Shane Kavanagh, who last week scored 3 points for the footballers, Mark Phelan, he scored 2 points for the footballers. He'll be playing at full forward today, and Jack Keogh as well. So they've experience of Parnell Park. That won't be a factor. They lost last weekend, so I suppose they're going to try and repair that damage. Now, they've had difficulty getting out of intermediate ranks over the last few years, Naomh Mearnóg. They were in the final in 2015. That was in O'Toole Park. It was a morning that looked a bit like this, even though it wasn't nearly so cold and there wasn't anything of a breeze on that occasion, and they lost out on that occasion to Castleknock. So they really are determined to try and make it go one better this year. Now, of course, these two teams have already met once in this year's championship, and Fingallians came out on top in that one, but it's very difficult to know if that's a plus factor for them or not. They were playing at home in Lawless Park on that occasion, and I'm sure that that had a factor as well in the final say. But they're having their final talk, and the very, well, I would say echoey surroundings here of Parnell Park. Absolutely nobody else slid into Parnell Park today apart from the Team 40s and the officials, and it really is being, it's on a real lockdown here. Names are even being taken now for people to come in here, and so it's an unusual intermediate final, unlike any other that's ever been played before here in Parnell Park, and it'll be interesting to see how some players rise to that occasion. Some other ones find it difficult to do that, but over. That's the voice of John Costello announcing Naomh Mearnóg. Referee Terry Carton gets matters underway in this first half. It will be Naomh Mearnóg who will have the advantage of the breeze, and Liam Mullen overheld that ball there for Naomh Mearnóg. I think in fact for a second he was going to play it down into his own defence. That's the impression I got from his body language, and he overheld it as a result when he suddenly realised that he had to go in the opposite direction. So an opportunity now for Fingallians. And their midfielder strikes that one well and gets the opening point of this game. Sean Hickey, he'll be the man that'll be taking the frees for Fingallians this afternoon. So that's a good start from them. The point from the free coming inside the first minute of this game, after only 30 seconds in fact. The opportunity, but unfortunately for Gavin Nangle there, he went out over the near sideline. Line ball for Fingallians. Fingallians in the red and white. Naomh Mearnóg in the black and amber. And he's certainly built the perfect platform for himself. And that's a good cut through the centre as far as Ronan Lennon. No, it's not. In fact, it's going to be Peter Daly. Peter Daly plays the angle ball the far side of the field, but that's gone out for a line ball on the far side. In the junior match there are a lot of line balls on the near side, obviously because the breeze is carrying everything onto this side of the field, but on this occasion it's a line ball on that far side of the field for Naomh Mearnóg. They'll be determined to get off to a good start. They have the breeze. Cian Hendricken, a long ball again very close to that far sideline, over the far sideline. This is the difficulty when you're playing a lot of the angle ball. If it isn't to hand or close enough, then it can end up going over the far side. And this time came off a Fingallian stick, so it's going to be a line ball for Naomh Mearnóg. Good cut there from Ronan Lenihan into that full forward line, and it's all very safely held in there, and that looks like it's gone over. A good score, in fact, for Naomh Mearnóg. Mark Phelan there, the player, got it. He was very close to the end line. He seemed to find a lot of space and time for the shot, but Mark Phelan was equal to whatever it was that was required. So that's a good response now for Naomh Mearnóg. They'd be delighted with that. Cian Hendricken solid in the centre of that defence. Ronan Keevy, or Diarmuid Keevy, out the far side. Chases on there. Ronan Lenihan trying to get to it there, but Fingallians have numbers there. Barry Rogers. Dangerous one. Oh, in fact, it might have run on there very well, but in fact it's stopped by Owen O'Connor. Owen O'Connor has it. He's beaten in the end. That ball could have run on through there as far as Donagh Williams, but Fingallians haven't given up on it as yet, and they've got it back. Good play from Fingallians. Little flick inside there as far as TJ Howard. TJ Howard goes for the shot. It might just come inside that upright. The umpires are looking at each other. They're not 100% sure. I think it might have gone out to the right. I think the umpires probably made the right decision there. I think it actually went out to the right and wide. I know the Fingallians players feel that it just sneaked inside the upright, but it has in fact been given now. The linesman at this side of the field, I think, gave the score. So TJ Howard gets the score there for Fingallians. Bobby Smith, Naomh Mearnóg goalkeeper. That's a great catch out there by centre half forward Ronan Lenihan. They're getting ball into that full forward line as quickly as they possibly can. That's a great ball through the centre. An opportunity for Naomh Mearnóg. Comes back outside, 20 metres out. Well, there's the ball has gone to ground there. Gavin Nangle had it there for a second. Looked as if he was about to get possession of that ball, and in the end it's weight of numbers for Fingallians to win the free out. For a split second there, Gavin Nangle looked as if he had the opportunity, but it was quickly closed down on by Fingallians. They've won the free out, and Shane Nolan, their Tipperary goalkeeper, launches this one down into that full forward line. It should be a simple enough one for Cian Hendricken. Well, he overplayed it a little bit there. Then he decides that he'll go long onto that far side of the field. The chase is on out there for Jack Keogh. Jack Keogh goes for the shot from there. Is that a good one? No, it's gone to the left and wide. Well, it looked like they were cheering it on from the stand there, as if it had gone over the crossbar. But Jack Keogh's shot just left and wide, the opening wide of this game. And that's going to be a free for Fingallians, right on the halfway line, or a little bit further up. Dara Power, the Dublin under 21. He was the man that won the free. So an opportunity once again for Sean Hickey. Drives it well, but to the right and wide. So Fingallians suffering a little bit from the disadvantage of the breeze, but still they're ahead by a point at this stage as that ball runs through. Again, close to the sideline, gone over the sideline. It's going to be a Fingallians ball. As I mentioned earlier, these sides have already met in this competition. Fingallians winning by 2-16 to 15 points. That was Naomh Mearnóg's only group defeat. In fact, their only defeat in this year's championship so far. So you can see these sides, they know each other well. Fingallians back outside, the shot coming in from Dara Power. Dara Power's shot this time is a much better one, and that's gone over the crossbar. Good score from Dara Power. And remember, it's Fingallians that are playing into that very, very strong wind. So Naomh Mearnóg really need to get something moving. Ronan Lenihan's ball into the corner there. Mearnóg are working hard for it, but Fingallians again. Full back Ian Kennedy, he was in there doing some very good work, and now they can get away with this. Little bit of pace. Oh, that's good running. Can he get that ball on inside? He can. The opportunity for the score, perhaps. It's flicked on inside. Owen O'Connor has it. Owen O'Connor turns, and Owen O'Connor takes the point. That was good hurling. It had all the features that you needed there. Strong running, hard work, and then accuracy in the last third of the pitch. Good score from Owen O'Connor. Owen, a son of Ger O'Connor. As Bobby Smith now is sizing up his options. He'll be able to drive it at distance. And Naomh Mearnóg had won the free. Just what they needed at this stage. They need a response. So Liam Mullen. Shouldn't have any difficulty. The wind is coming from over his shoulder, and he's gone through his routine. Strikes it well. Good score from Liam Mullen. That was just what the doctor ordered for Naomh Mearnóg. They needed a score in response to Fingallians. Well, there were a lot of calls there. Not too sure if the referee was responding to them or not. Diarmuid Keevy had possession of the ball, but in fact it's going to be a free for Fingallians. Sean Hickey again driving that one in against the breeze, but it's gone wide. They took a little bit of time for the umpires to decide. I'm not too sure if the sun having come out is making life a bit more difficult for them. That ball runs on through there. Tom Cosgrove was hoping to get hold of that one, but it's gone for a line ball. It was Owen Howard. So there's two Howards in the half-back line. Owen and Shane, they're brothers of course. Sons of Niall Howard, formerly of Dublin. Oh, that's good work there from Danny Lynch. Danny Lynch playing that ball through into the centre. They still have the opportunity. He won't go for the goal, I think. Perhaps Peter Daly. He had a momentary opportunity there, but couldn't get it in. Couldn't get the shot in. And the referee looks as if he's reaching for his book there as well. He's going to have a word with somebody. He's going to throw this one in anyhow. So he goes out to the 20-metre line. There's plenty of Naomh Mearnóg defenders there. There's one loose man waiting off there. That's Peter Daly. It won't be needed, or he won't be needed, because Naomh Mearnóg clear their lines there. But Owen Howard had an opportunity there for a moment. It's going to be a free for Naomh Mearnóg. And it's taken very, very quickly. The referee says no. Wait for my whistle. Brings it back. So this will be Liam Mullen territory, I think, again. Liam spent a lot of time on his own before the throw-in, just practicing his frees. Sometimes not. The breeze doesn't tend to help you that much sometimes on these kinds of long freeze. Ball is up there in the air for a long time. An important one for Naomh Mearnóg if they can land it. It certainly is high enough, but they've decided to give it. Both umpires are in agreement there, so Liam Mullen gets his second point in a row, second free, and now there's just a point between the sides. Good play from Naomh Mearnóg. Bit of pressure coming on now. That runs on through. Full forward, Mark Phelan is taken down. Well, he did well there to win that ball. There were 3 players around him as he lost his stick, I think, and then was complaining at the fact that his arm was perhaps struck in the middle of all of that. The referee, I think, is going to throw in the ball as a result. Which he does. That's taken up well there though by Shane Howard. Shane Howard did well there for Fingallians, but he doesn't really find anything accurate there. Oh, that's a long ball into that corner. The chase is on for it. Jack Keogh will get to it there. He likes to turn inside, but he's coming in along the end line, very close to the end line. Has it gone out over the end line? No, says the referee. The man that has it now is Ian Kennedy, and Ian Kennedy wins the free out. And Jack Keogh just had a moment there when he might have placed that ball across into the centre, but he got too close to the end line. That was where he was just forcing his way. It looked as if it was very close to being over the end line, but out came the fullback there, Ian Kennedy. He did well. Got a bit of a knock for his troubles, but he's up on his feet. Self-attended to. As Shane Nolan now drives this one long. The turn away there from Dara Power. Dara Power doing well. Finding space for himself all the time and keeping going. I think they thought he was going to stop there for a moment, but he played it back to Donagh Williams. Donagh Williams goes for the shot, and Donagh Williams' shot is again just drifting to the right and wide. That's where the breeze is having the impact. I mean, I know it's only centimetres in the difference, but you can see the green flag down there fluttering into the face of Donagh Williams, and whatever it was, it just about pulled that one to the right hand side. Bobby Smith, well played out on that far side. Well, that's a long ball in there. Barry Rogers wasn't at all happy with it. Made a great catch, got great possession, and then suddenly found that his shot was drifting away to the right hand side and wide. As we've come to our first water break of this intermediate hurling final. They don't take too long in turning around, these water breaks, at the moment. As we look back on some of the moments of that first half, Mark Phelan there taking a really good score from that right corner forward position for Naomh Mearnóg. Fingallians working hard too, and the man who got this one was TJ Howard. Bit of a debate about it. Took a while for it to be given, but in the end TJ Howard was quite rightly given the score by the linesman on this side of the field. There's a lot of hard work in there to get hold of that ball, and in the end Fingallians got the score from it. I think you can see that Fingallians, when they work hard to push forward and take their scores, I think perhaps that was a little bit overdone there for a moment, but in the end it came back to, as far as Owen O'Connor, and Owen O'Connor took the score for them. It looked as if there'd been a little bit of over elaboration there for a moment from Danny Lynch, but it worked out in the end. While at the other end Liam Mullen was landing the scores from frees, and none better than that one. Another opportunity for him shortly afterwards, and the same result. So I think the referee's given these players a little bit longer than normal, but the water break is about to be broken up at this stage now. mention the fact that Naomh Mearnóg had one defeat in their group, while Fingallians also suffered one defeat in the group. That was losing to St. Mark's, and while Naomh Mearnóg had a better scoring difference, Fingallians ended up winning the group on the head-to-head. They ended up on the same points. I think it was 4 points each they had, but Fingallians claimed top spot. And here they are once again in this intermediate hurling final. Terry Carton has given them their break. He's blown to resume, and so it'll be Bobby Smith that'll do that for Naomh Mearnóg. Lets that one go on the wind. Gavin Nangle getting into that full forward area. This is a dangerous one inside. Mark Phelan is trying to get hold of it. He does get hold of it. Has he got a player in the centre, or will he go for the shot himself? He overhits that one over into the corner. Good opportunity that for Naomh Mearnóg, but Fingallians now, they have to get this out, and they play that one well, and as soon as I say that, that ball is drilled out over the near sideline. The intended target there was Peter Daly, but there was absolutely no chance it was ever going to go anywhere near him. So Shane Kavanagh now will take the line ball for Naomh Mearnóg. He's been given a lot of advice from the players. I'm sure you might even hear that at times to time. Shane Nangle doing well, although there's 3 players on him now, and one of those players just rips that ball away. Sean Hickey does well with it and decides to go long now. Oh, well held in there in the defence. Corner back there, Mark O'Callaghan made a terrific catch, and it had to be one because the player behind there was TJ Howard. He was running in behind him. Another opportunity, and once again Mark O'Callaghan does well to come out. This time though TJ Howard gets it over onto the far side of the field. Derek Rogers going for the shot, but that again is wide. So Fingallians are getting lots of possession into that breeze. They're just not getting the scores. Liam Mullen made a bit of a dart there into space, but Bobby Smith didn't spot him, or when he did spot him it was too late, so he decides to go long onto that far side of the field. This one will come infield now as far as Dara Power. Dara Power likes to carry that ball forward, plays it back as far as Sean Hickey. Sean Hickey now decides to change direction well up into that far corner there as far as Danny Lynch. Danny Lynch now playing it infield, looking for TJ Howard. TJ Howard is bustled off the ball, let's put it that way, and Naomh Mearnóg, that defence is doing well for Naomh Mearnóg, although once again as soon as I say that, they give that ball away, a loose one, and I think the referee might have to just blow this one up. There's a lot of players falling on the ground. Somebody might get it out, but that full back line has been solid. TJ Howard back as far as midfielder Donna Williams, and Donna Williams' shot this time comes back down off the upright. Bobby Smith has to react quickly to that, and he does. He got a bit of a frontal charge there, so it's going to be a free out. But there's a lot of pressure on that Naomh Mearnóg full back line of Mark O'Callaghan, Niall Cafferkey and Owen Kelly, and they've survived so far. But Fingallians still lead by a point. And Naomh Mearnóg with the strong breeze. Won't win a game for you, but it can work out for you if you manage to get that ball into good positions. And once again that one's just gone off to the left and wide, and Gavin Nangle is disgusted with himself for that, because he really had a good opportunity there. He'd done all the hard work, he'd come across onto that ball, used his strength and his speed, but just didn't have the accuracy to take it. Good catch there from Shane Nangle. Shane Nangle has support behind him. The man behind him is Shane Kavanagh. Shane Kavanagh plays it back to Cian O'Daly. Cian O'Daly goes long into that full forward line. It breaks down, but there's plenty of Fingallian players there. One of them was Shane Howard. And Fingallians, they just look that more confident defence as that ball is up onto that far side of the field. Comes off the fingertips there of Derek Rogers and goes out for a line ball on the far side. Shane Kavanagh takes the line ball in as far as Ronan Lenihan. Ronan Lenihan tries to get into the full forward line there in towards Mark Phelan. Mark Phelan does well to turn. He had plenty of time there, plenty of space, and Mark Phelan gets a good score from Naomh Mearnóg. The sides are level after about 19 minutes of play here in Parnell Park. Mark Phelan gets his second point of this game. That ball is loose there, but it'll come as far as Shane Kavanagh. Shane Kavanagh having an increasing influence in this, and straight away then Sean Hickey goes in and Sean Hickey wins that ball. It's gone loose once again. Dara Power has it. Dara Power thinking about going for the score. He'd make himself a little bit of space. It's being narrowed down at this stage, and again the Naomh Mearnóg defence was good in getting back and getting numbers there and getting that long ball through. But once again, Fingallians strong in defence. Good play there from Shane Howard. Sean Hickey goes for the score, and Sean Hickey can't steer it on target. Well, certainly Fingallians will be happier of the two with the sides in this low scoring intermediate final, tied at 4 points each, and Fingallians will know that while the wind won't necessarily do too much for you, it'll help. That ball won by Gavin Nangle, and Gavin Nangle put out over the sideline. In fact, he may even have carried it too far. I think the referee, is he going to give the line ball? I think he's giving the line ball perhaps. No, I think he's actually going to give the free on that one, and even though Gavin Nangle isn't happy, again Sean Hickey driving that one up into the corner. Good play in there though. Cian Hendricken, I think, was the player who was back there. Bobby Smith now, and he's under pressure, but I think he was mostly under pressure from the Fingallians backroom team in the stand. But an opportunity for Ronan Lenihan. Ronan Lenihan plays it into that full forward line again, runs all the way through to Shane Nolan. Shane Nolan plays it up into the field, centre of the field to Sean Hickey. Sean Hickey turns away from the challenges, tries to get it out onto the far side, but it doesn't work out for him there. Comes only as far as Diarmuid Keevy. Diarmuid Keevy, Ronan Lenihan. Ronan Lenihan plays it back outside to Shane Nangle. Shane Nangle goes for the score, and he gets the score. Well, that really was good play from Naomh Mearnóg. The combination in the centre of the field was good, and the half forward line combining well with Shane Nangle getting the final touch on it and sending it over the crossbar. So 4 points in a row for Naomh Mearnóg have meant that they've gone ahead in this game for the first time. Naomh Mearnóg player down on the far side of the field injured as this ball goes over this near sideline again here for a sideline ball. Referee Terry Carton very calmly, not reacting in any way just at the moment. And the injury seems to be recovered, although referee is going to have a word now with the umpires down to our left hand side. I'm not too sure if they saw anything down there or not. There were certainly plenty of appeals from Naomh Mearnóg's mentors and backroom team, and the referee certainly has made a note of something in his book, and the man that he's going to have a word with is Fingallians wing half back Barry Rogers. Barry Rogers, a brother of Derek Rogers, who's in the half forward line. And Barry is saying, well, look, oh, it's a red card. Barry Rogers gets the red card. Now, what impact will that have on this game? Some 24 minutes in, and Fingallians are down to 14 men. A red card for their wing half back Barry Rogers. They trail by a point. and it means that for at least 35 minutes of this game, Fingallians are going to have to play with a numerical disadvantage unless something happens for Naomh Mearnóg, but that could be a game changer. The long ball into that full foul in, superbly caught by Danny Lynch. Danny Lynch decides to run it. He's brought down. Referee says no free, and he hadn't given anything as well, but that one has landed in and over the crossbar. Well, I'm not too sure what was happening there. I think the referee and everybody else expected, well, everyone else expected there would be a free on that occasion, but nothing came of it, and in the end it was Derek Rogers who popped it over the crossbar. Sides are level once again. Naomh Mearnóg putting the pressure on. And the referee saw the hurl coming in there on Mark Phelan, so it's going to be a free in for Naomh Mearnóg. So this would be a quick response now to that score from Derek Rogers. No doubting who's going to take it for them. Liam Mullen. He's already scored 2. Not an easy one this. Keeps it low enough, and it's dead straight as well. That's a good score from Liam Mullen. There's 3rd point of this first half for Naomh Mearnóg. So they're just nudging themselves in front, but you have to wonder, have they done enough with that breeze? Even the fact is that they now have 15 men. It's just 14 for Fingallians. Shane Howard sends it long, but now the extra man is obvious there. Tom Cosgrove. Oh, it looked for a moment as if that was about to drift over the hand of Shane Nolan, but he caught it very securely. No real problems. Naomh Mearnóg head down, going for goal, but in fact it was fairly obvious that it was going to end up in nothing. Once he stumbled, once he began to fall, you could see there that Jack Keogh simply wasn't going to be able to burrow his way through, and Fingallians win the free out. That's a good drive up into that corner. The stick there, a very important one from Owen Kelly into the centre of the field to Shane Kavanagh. Shane Kavanagh, that's a huge one from Shane Kavanagh. It'll drop about 13 metres out, 20 metres out perhaps, off the fingertips there. It might have been off one of the Fingallians players. It doesn't matter because Shane Nolan is alert to it. Shane Nolan comes out. Shane Nolan's under pressure, and the umpire signals wide on this occasion. So it was a bit dangerous there for Tom Nolan for a moment, or Shane Nolan I should say, and he's going to have to take that puck out again. Well, despite the fact that they've only 14 men, he still finds David Fagan free. And the long ball into that corner again. Oh, that's a good score. Well, you'd have to find a lot of questions there in the Naomh Mearnóg defence, where everyone was at that point in time, because you had 2 men that were free, and it looked as if there really shouldn't have been anybody else free around the field, and yet still they found that out in the centre of the field. So maybe not the organisation that Naomh Mearnóg would want to have just at this point in time, but the sides are level once again. So fast approaching half time. Oh, that ball is loose in there again. Naomh Mearnóg not just getting hold of that ball, and in the end the referee gives the free in. So this is a good spell now for Fingallians. They'll be delighted with this. They've come back, they've levelled it. They're down to 14 men. And if they can take this score, it would mean that they'd actually have outscored Naomh Mearnóg by 3 points to 1 since the dismissal of Barry Rogers, which is a good response. No problems for Sean Hickey. So we had a point from Sean Hickey and one before that from the other midfielder, Donald Williams. And now Fingallians have gone 1 point clear again in this first half. And remember, they're playing into the wind. The ball is loose. Oh, it seemed as if there was a push there from Sean Hickey. Fairly obvious one on Shane Kavanagh. So this is certainly within range for Liam Mullen. He's stolen a couple of metres and he's been sent back, so it's probably going to be on the 65-metre line. In fact, I think he's going back further now than the free was. That's what sometimes happens when you're trying to steal a few metres. So Liam Mullen now with an opportunity. Can he tie this up for Naomh Mearnóg before the half-time break? It's very high, but it's gone to the left and it's gone wide. Shane Nolan again in the middle of the field there. Sean Hickey free. The extra man is there in the half back line at the moment. And it's a good ball out onto this side of the field as far as Shane Nangle. Shane Nangle in towards Mark Phelan. Off the fingertips once again. Shane Howard in there battling for that ball. So too is Dara Power. The referee gives the free out. Almost a bit of confusion in there for a moment as I think Jack Keogh thought one of the Fingallian players were going to steal the hurl, but in the end, and again, it's amazing once again as the referee decides that he'll call a halt to the first half, decides enough is enough here at Parnell Park. He brings the first half to a conclusion. An entertaining enough first half. I mean, at the beginning of the first half we had a number of very good scores, and then into that second quarter the pressure was on at times there for Naomh Mearnóg. Mark Phelan doing well in the full forward line. Remember, he scored a couple of points for the footballers last week. Well, he scored a couple of points here today as well for the hurlers. And Naomh Mearnóg were looking good at that stage. This was again another good score from them from Shane Nangle. And at that stage they were just beginning to tick over. But certainly Fingallians came strongly as well. Danny Lynch playing that ball back to Derek Rogers, and Derek Rogers, a really fine score from out on the left hand side. And that's just what Fingallians were doing, even though they were playing into the breeze. That one was well broken out. The long ball through there to Mark Phelan once again. Mark Phelan was fouled, and then it was Liam Mullen who put it over the crossbar. So lots of good incidents at both ends of the field for these teams so far in this match. Mark Phelan perhaps getting as much as he could out of this first half there, even though on that occasion I think it was Gavin Nangle or Jack Keogh that was trying to go through. But at the other end too, Fingallians kept the scoreboard ticking over. That scramble eventually ended up with the free in for Fingallians, and Sean Hickey, who's been flawless so far, striking it well straight between the uprights to give them a 1 point advantage at half time. That's Fingallians. Well, as I said, it's been an interesting enough first half. Time now though for you at home to put the kettle on, but don't take too long because we'll be back shortly with full second half coverage. There was only about 5 minutes or a little bit more for the half-time interval in the first game, so it probably won't be too long. The players of course can't go into the dressing rooms now. They're standing around, they're getting a little bit cold on a day like this, so they're eager to get going again, so it won't be too long before we're back again. But for now though, we'll leave you from Parnell Park. We're at half-time in the Dublin Intermediate Hurling Championship final. It's Fingallians 7 points, Naomh Mearnóg 6 points. Welcome back to Parnell Park for second half coverage on Dubs TV of the 2020 Dublin Intermediate Hurling Championship Final. Naomh Mearnóg from Portmarnock against Fingallians of Swords. At half time the scoreline shows that Fingallians are ahead by 7 points to Naomh Mearnóg 6 points, and last Saturday Naomh Mearnóg lost their Senior 2 Football Championship semi-final to St Bridget's here in Parnell Park, so they're hoping for a different outcome today. Well, the next 30 minutes will decide. Referee Terry Carton is ready to throw in the ball. I see one change on the Fingallian side. Owen Brady, wearing the number 21, has come into the action, and straight away it's an opportunity for Liam Mullen to get a score, and that's gone right and wide. Mearnóg only had 3 wides in that first half. Fingallians had 5 in total, 6 in total actually. Fingallians though playing into the breeze, and in this second half breeze might have just dissipated a little bit, but not an awful lot. It's still very, very strong. That ball in the centre of the field there, Shane Nangle. So Naomh Mearnóg have got to play into the breeze. Little tap there with the stick. Sometimes though the breeze doesn't always necessarily suit the style of play for particular teams. It'll be interesting to see Mark Phelan there. Mark Phelan, remember, got a tap on the arm earlier on, so I think that was the second one he got, and that's what he felt there perhaps. He's still in there battling for that possession. And the opportunity, is it coming inside? No, it isn't. In fact, Diarmuid Keevy was the player who got the shot away there, but he just couldn't get it on target. So bright enough opening to the second half for Naomh Mearnóg into the breeze, but they have a bit to go in this game. That ball going loose. Good play by Naomh Mearnóg to make sure that that one wasn't a real danger. But remember, in this second half, that Fingallians are playing with 14 men. They lost Barry Rogers to a straight red card in that first half. So there's a lot about tactics in this game as well. But Fingallians are battling hard for possession down there. They're not giving up. In the corner, it's Owen Kelly. And Kelly did well there. Good play getting that ball out of defence. Naomh Mearnóg try and launch something long. Mark Phelan did extremely well there. Got that at the second attempt. Plays the ball wide onto that far side of the field. Jack Keogh's out there. Goes for the snapshot. But again, that's drifting out to the right hand side and wide. So plenty of possession for Naomh Mearnóg in this second half. But so far, they have nothing to show for it. They still trail by that point, the same as they did at half time. Shane Nolan being called to play it on to this side of the field here. Dara Power, the player who's looking for it. Dara Power battling hard for it. In goes Owen Brady. So Terry Carton is going to throw this one in again. Must say the surface here hasn't cut up very much at all in Parnell Park. It's been a very good surface for hurling, indeed for football as well last week, and it'll be football again next week. Hurling tomorrow, of course, the Senior B and Senior A finals. Sean Hickey, an opportunity now to see what he can do. I don't know if it's within his range, even with that breeze, but he's certainly going to leave it. That is only going to be a few metres short, perhaps. He strikes it well. It looks as if it's heading out to the right hand side. He certainly had the distance. He had no problem whatsoever with the distance there. But that's wide for Fingallians. As in the earlier Junior A final, this is a winner of the day tie. So if it's a draw, we go to extra time. And if it's still a draw at the end of extra time, we'll go to penalties. So almost from the halfway line. Liam Mullen into the breeze. Gone through his ritual. He strikes it a little bit to the right, is it? Yes, it's gone right and wide. So we've had 4 wides at the start of this second half. 4 wides in 4 minutes for Naomh Mearnóg. And Bridget's trying to play that ball shorter now instead of the lottery of playing it into the centre of the field, perhaps, where they're the man short. That's gone over the far sideline. It's going to be a line ball for Naomh Mearnóg to keep the pressure on Fingallians at this stage. Oh, that's a good line ball, but again it on the centre. Hands grasping at it but can't hold on to it, but Fingallians still have possession there. Mark Phelan is, I won't say fighting for that ball, but he certainly worked as hard as he possibly could, and he won that himself. Mark Phelan getting the congratulations all round for winning that free. Fingallians, I think, felt that it should have been a free out, but the referee adamant, leaving it behind now for Liam Mullen. This one should be a mere tap over for Liam Mullen and should draw the sides level. Naomh Mearnóg have been threatening to pull level. That's exactly what they've done now, with the point from Liam Mullen. 7 points apiece. Just over 5 minutes played in the second half. 14-man Fingallians against 15-man Naomh Mearnóg. Shane Kavanagh out there, but that pass of his has gone astray a little bit. TJ Howard, Dara Power, can he find a way around? He's got two players facing him. I think the referee felt that there was a little bit of a tug on the hurl there, and so it's going to be another opportunity for Sean Hickey. Yeah, Dara Power there came in. Well, it might have been even around the wrist. And Sean Hickey now looking to get Fingallians' first score of this second half. This shouldn't be a problem for him. It is a problem. It's gone left and wide. Well, that's a surprise. Sean Hickey, who had trouble with a few frees in the first half into the wind, but that one was wind backed. Shouldn't have had any problem with it whatsoever, and seemed to strike it very, very well. But Fingallians have a lot of players back in that half back line now, making it very difficult for Naomh Mearnóg. Cian Hendricken getting that ball. Well, for a second it looked as if Niall Cafferty was going to be the player that would deliver it, but it's sent in, held by Bobby Smith, plays it out into the centre of the field. Fingallians seem to be attacking the ball that little bit better, but this one works out for Naomh Mearnóg now. Have they the opportunity? Not sure if that was an intended pass there as far as Diarmuid Keevy, but it seemed to work out in the end. Ball shoveled on there as far as Shane Kavanagh. Shane Kavanagh now with the opportunity. He's coming in. Will he go for the goal? He does, but it's gone in under the hurl of Shane Nolan. Well, you couldn't really have a more fortuitous score than that. The goalkeeper advanced. Midfielder Shane Kavanagh, he didn't hit it very cleanly, and it literally trickled to the back of the net. Well, is that the score that's going to change this game? Naomh Mearnóg go a goal clear 8 minutes into the second half, and Shane Nolan will have nightmares about that one. Just one of those that bobbled along the ground. Chris Farley is a player who's in there for Naomh Mearnóg as well, and a change in this second half. Now Naomh Mearnóg with new impetus, running strongly. Is that one again right and wide, and Fingallians are not too happy there with some contact out on that far side of the field there. Shane Nolan. And once again, Naomh Mearnóg beginning to win the dirty ball there in the centre of the field. Diarmuid Keevy loses this one though as far as Dara Power. Dara Power working back strongly. There's again, there's two players there though. The goal scorer is one of them, Shane Kavanagh, and he wins the free out. That extra man having the impact at the moment. Clare man Richie Hennessy I see is onto the Fingallian side as well. And once again working so hard, Mark Phelan. Fingallians, Owen Brady. A little bit of space now for them. For the first time in a while they've been under pressure, but still there's 2 men to every Fingallians player in there. Even though that's a bit dangerous, Bobby Smith would be delighted to get the pass back from Cian Hendricken so he can clear his lines firmly out there into the centre of the field. Shane Nangle. Shane Nangle thinks he can get the score from there. That's a terrific shot if he can get it. Oh, that's a brilliant score from Shane Nangle. Oh, really, that was a terrific strike. He turned in field. You just got the feeling that he was confident, and despite the breeze into his face, he went for the score and he got it. This is a really good phase now for Naomh Mearnóg. A goal and 2 points. They've taken full advantage of the extra man, and they're attacking the long ball into Jack Keogh. Thinking about going for the shot from there. It's well blocked. Good Fingallians defence there. But once again that long ball is bearing very little fruit. Shane Kavanagh just dropping back there into that half back line, and he's quite happy to do that for as long as it takes. And that's another very good score. Yes, it just dropped in, had the legs over the crossbar, and once again we see that Naomh Mearnóg, now I won't say in control of this game, but they're certainly looking as if they're making life very difficult, as Shane Nangle is out there once again. That ball is played on through as far as Shane Nolan, though. No difficulties for him when he sees the man on the far side. Can't hold on to it though. Naomh Mearnóg working very, very hard now. You can see suddenly that they have a feeling that yes, this is there for the winning. Chris Farley. That one's gone to the right and wide. Chris Farley again is a player who's made a bit of an impact since he came on. Dara Power, good catch, plays that ball well up into the bit of space that's there. This is good play from Fingallians. Nice ball through into the centre there. Danny Lynch very strong. Can he get the shot in? That's the important thing from there, but no, he can't. And again, time for that defence. Chris Farley, plenty of time going forward now. Will he play that ball inside? No, he won't. Decides to go for the ball onto the far side of the field. There's 2 Fingallians men there. Calls for the free. No chance of that. Shane Howard plays it back out. And that one's gone wide again. Well, there are opportunities. Owen Brady, player who had an opportunity out there on that far right hand side. But this is the burst from the full forward Danny Lynch. But he just was forced off the ball. Fingallians though, through Alex Smith, drives that one long. An opportunity. This one has gone loose now. Danny Lynch once again plays that ball back in field. The run is on there for Owen O'Connor. Owen O'Connor, can he get the shot in? Owen O'Connor is dragged down. It's going to be a penalty. Danny Lynch made it in a way. He was very, very strong there. And once he burst through, he had Owen O'Connor inside him. And Owen O'Connor was thinking of only one thing, going for goal, brought down, penalty. Now this is a vital, vital moment for Fingallians. They went in at half time, ahead by 7 points to 6. They haven't scored in the second half. And now there's the opportunity for them to get the goal. It looked for a moment there as if Dara Power was going to take it, but in the end it's going to be Sean Hickey. sure he's going to hit this very, very hard, Sean Hickey. And it hits it, but it's he strikes it into the ground, and it's gone into the back of the net. Well, you'd have to say that there's been good fortune for goals at either end in this game. Sean Hickey took the shot. He didn't strike it at all well. And then Danny Lynch ran in behind him. I think Danny Lynch got the touch. So Danny Lynch gets the goal. And in fairness to him, Danny Lynch created the penalty himself for that ball inside to Owen O'Connor. So Fingallians are back in this game. They didn't get the goal from the penalty, but they got it shortly afterwards, and they'll be delighted now to take a little bit of a break for the water break. And that's their first score of the second half. The penalty was one that I'm sure Sean Hickey wouldn't have been thinking of doing, but Mark Phelan there was working very, very hard. That's where he managed to win the free back in. And that really was his score in many senses, even though he wasn't the man that put it over the crossbar in the end. But the bustling full forward has been working so hard. But here's the goal, and this time it came from Shane Kavanagh. But again, there was so much luck attached to it. Shane Nolan coming forward, but they just bobbled and got away from him. Shane Nangle in the centre of the field, high and mighty, and these are good scores into that breeze. Keeping the pressure on Fingallians. And this is what led to the penalty. Danny Lynch, Owen O'Connor ran well there. In fact, it was Shane Kavanagh who brought him down. And Sean Hickey will be wondering what he was doing with this one. He simply just didn't connect to it. Took it in the ground, and then Danny Lynch followed up very, very quickly to get the goal. So it's still wide open here in Parnell Park. A Mearnóg lead by 2 points. And this is it, the decisive last quarter. No going back after this. Paul Graves has come into the action as well for Fingallians. Tom Cosgrove. Into the corner, but it was Cian Hendricken. No, in fact it wasn't. It was Shane Howard who was in there and won that ball for Fingallians. And this might well be policy for Fingallians now after the water break. Land that ball in high as TJ Howard goes for the score, and that's a very good score. That's a lovely point off his left hand side there. TJ Howard, you could see he was quite confident in taking it. He splits the uprights, and now there's just a point between the sides. Owen Brady. Again, that ball up into the corner. TJ Howard once again. Will he come back outside? Will he go for the point? He will go for it, but in fact that's a very loose one from him. It looked a lot easier to put it on target from there than not. He was being chased down there by Niall Cafferty. But that really was a good opportunity for an equalising score for Fingallians. Bobby Smith plays a good ball up onto that far side of the field. And again that one into the ground. And again Fingallians have an opportunity to go long with this one. Paul Graves. TJ Howard can't get there to it. A lot of defenders. A little bit of need for a bit of a rush on there. Shane Nangle into the centre there to Liam Mullen. Liam Mullen does well to get away from 3 challenges there. But again, good defence. No free there, says the referee. Shane Nangle on the burst there. There's calls for the score to be taken. But Fingallians Shane Howard in there, working very, very hard. He has to play it back to Shane Nolan. Shane Nolan in trouble on the ground. It's come loose. Oh, the swinging hurley just couldn't get a touch on it there, as the Naomh Mearnóg player just lost his footing at the wrong time. The ball is still in there. Surely the referee's going to blow this one up for a throw ball. There was real danger there for Shane Nolan. Shane Nolan was put under a lot of pressure in there. And almost there. It was agonising for Ronan Lenihan. He just couldn't get the boss of the stick onto it. So from the 20-metre line, Terry Carton's going to throw it in. 1 point between them. And he's seen a free this time. So it's going to be a free in for Naomh Mearnóg. Liam Mullen will take the free. No problem whatsoever. So he stretches the lead to 2 points. Another goal in this game perhaps would be absolutely vital. It's been low scoring. Owen Brady plays it across into the centre. Richie Hennessy in there working very, very hard, but good work too from Naomh Mearnóg, and that long ball into that full forward line. Mark Phelan working his socks off in there, but good defence too. That was really good full back play there from Ian Kennedy, and Ian Kennedy plays it wide there to Owen Howard. Owen Howard overhits that one, and it's going to go very close to that far sideline. Naomh Mearnóg has possession. The opportunity for another attack. Remember, Naomh Mearnóg playing into the breeze in the second half. Mark Phelan once again. It's a great turn from Mark Phelan to go for the goal. And they're debating whether it was a point or not. I certainly wouldn't like to be the one that has to make that decision. But in the end, the umpire decides that that one went wide. I know that Shane Nolan was adamant that it went wide, but I certainly couldn't be sure about it. It was moving at bullet pace. But wide it is. Danny Lynch in there again. Sean Hickey in alongside him. But Naomh Mearnóg doing well. And the referee said there was a free there, was it? Hand on the shoulder there of Cian Hendricken. Cian Hendricken has played very well, very solid in the centre of that Portmarnock defence. So Liam Mullen, he'll be doing well to find the distance on this one, unless he can get a moment when the breeze has drifted down. That's a very good one. Oh, well saved by Shane Nolan. Gets it out from under that crossbar of his, through into the centre. Chance of a goal, and that one's gone out for a 65. Well, the Naomh Mearnóg players urging each other on at this stage. The man who getting all the praise there is Chris Farley, or Christie as they're calling him. He got the shot in, the final one that led to the 65. So another very good opportunity for Liam Mullen. Well, definitely the breeze isn't quite as strong as it was. This will give you a fair indication if this one is on target, but it's not. It's gone to the right and wide. 10 wides in total for Naomh Mearnóg. Fingallians now trying to narrow that margin. Mark Phelan, no sorry, it wasn't Mark Phelan, that one of course. Danny Lynch coming out. Danny Lynch giving away the free, trying to bring the ball back a little bit further each time. That ball was blocked there, and the referee felt that there was something wrong on that one. So another opportunity now for Liam Mullen. A lot of this has been down to him at this stage. A lovely little cameo there of somebody complained to the referee that Danny Lynch was too close. As Liam Mullen hits this one well. Is that one on target? That's better from Liam Mullen. He's got the range back again. He's had a few slide out to the right hand side, but that means that there's now 3 points between them. I know it's only one goal, there's only one score, but Naomh Mearnóg seem to be playing well. Good block there from Owen Brady. And that's another one slipping off outside the upright and wide. Will Naomh Mearnóg, will they rue these? The quick one there taken as far as Owen Howard. Owen Howard plays it out as far as Dara Power. Dara Power goes with the long ball way up into that far corner. The chase is on for it there. It's Owen O'Connor that gets to it there. Owen O'Connor's got support there from Shane Howard. He doesn't use Shane Howard. He plays that ball across towards Danny Lynch. Danny Lynch is over on this side of the field. Danny Lynch looking up. Can he get the shot on? It looks as if he has the opportunity for it. He can't though. And he goes for the more difficult ball across into the centre there, and that means that the sheer weight of numbers there for Naomh Mearnóg win possession of that ball, and they have it once again. Now, can they move forward this time? Tom Cosgrove, the long ball into that full forward line. That's well caught. Oh, that was an agonising one there for Mark Phelan. He did everything well there. Superb catch, turned away from his marker, but he just couldn't get it on target. So there's still 3 points between these sides, but you can see that Naomh Mearnóg are definitely grown in confidence. But don't forget that it's 15 Naomh Mearnóg players against 14 for Fingallians. Barry Rogers, the Fingallians player, dismissed on a red card in that first half. So it's been well, it will be 35 minutes of play with the advantage of an extra man for Naomh Mearnóg, unless something else happens here just at the moment. Chris Farley, good block. Owen Brady seemed to suddenly stumble there. I'm not too sure why that was. It's all very intense now. The whole thing is up to gear. Good challenge there. Well, it might have been, it looked a good challenge. I think Mark O'Callaghan felt that it was on his arm rather than anything else. He was the one who ended up injured as a result of it, I think. But Fingallians now trying to do something, trying to find something special here. TJ Howard. There's plenty of Naomh Mearnóg players in there as well though, but the opportunity for Danny Lynch. Danny Lynch goes once, goes twice. He's gone down, but the referee says that it's eventually going to be a free. The ball ends up in the net, but it's too late for that because the whistle had gone. And that really was good work. TJ Howard played that ball across. Owen O'Connor, who earlier got the pass from Danny Lynch, this time Danny Lynch who gets the pass and is brought down. So it'll be free in for Fingallians. And there's a few people there thinking about whether they're going to go for a goal maybe. Paul Graves was there alongside Richie Hennessy. But in the end I think it's Richie Hennessy that just taps that ball over the crossbar. There was no point in looking for anything special there because Naomh Mearnóg they were well prepared for what was going to happen there. So in the end the Clare man takes the point. So we're back to a 2-point game at this stage. Cian Hendrigan looks to be the player who's in trouble down there just at the moment. I mentioned earlier that 2015 was the last time that Naomh Mearnóg appeared in an intermediate hurling championship final. That was a very bright sunny morning, much milder morning or day than today is, by the way, except that that match was in O'Toole Park and Naomh Mearnóg lost then by 15 points to 9 to Castleknock. So they have taken a bit of time to get back to this level, but this would be a massive win for them if they can hold on. They lead by 2. Line ball for Fingallians. If Fingallians are looking for a goal, well, they've only scored 3 goals in 5 games to date in this year's championship. Now their point scoring has been very consistent though. They scored 18 in the semi-final, 17 in the quarter-final, and they scored 17 once in the group as well, and they also scored 15 and 16 points. But they're just struggling to get those scores today. The referee thought that was a throw, so good pressure from Naomh Mearnóg. They'll be very happy with that. Naomh Mearnóg lead by 2. We're into the final minutes of this game. Another score, as this one goes over the near sideline, another score would be vital for them at this stage. Fingallians, taken by Alex Smith. Driven long, but again the extra man there. But this is a break on now for Shane Howard. Shane Howard looks for the score, and Shane Howard takes the score. That was a very good break by him. He saw what was happening there. He went forward, and Shane Howard had only one thing in his mind then, was to take that point, and he did it with some skill and some aplomb. There's 1 point between them, and we have 29 minutes played in this second half. Dara Power. Fingallians looking for the equalising point, maybe the winning goal, who knows. Brady in there trying to dig it out, runs on as far as Richie Hennessy. Richie Hennessy goes down on the ball, and the referee's got a little bit of sorting out to do now on this occasion, although the linesman was right there beside it as well. So an opportunity for Fingallians. Now is the time if they're going to be able to do something about it. A yellow card there for Chris Farley. Richie Hennessy's back up onto his feet, and Richie Hennessy, who also takes the frees for Fingallians. Sean Hickey is the free taker normally, but then sometimes it's this man, Richie Hennessy. Can he land the equalising score? 1 point between the sides, time almost up. It's a huge effort from that sideline. That's going left and that's gone wide. The referee's having a word with one of the umpires down there. I'm not too sure what it is that he's going to have a word about, if he saw something happening in there. Well, he's going to take no action. At least he's not speaking to anyone in particular. So Bobby Smith drives this one out. Liam Mullen into the centre. Once again, that high ball launched in, but it's going to the left again and wide. Fingallians doing everything they possibly can to get this equalising score, to save this game into the dying seconds. We had a few injuries as Bobby Smith goes long with this ball. Oh, it was held for a second there by Shane Nangle, but it's gone out for the line ball. So an opportunity now. Paul Graves. Well, they've really got to push players forward now. They've got to take the chance, even if it means leaving gaps behind, because they don't have enough men up there, and that's the reason why that long ball through there. Hard challenge going in there on Dermot Keevy. But Owen Howard thought he met him shoulder to shoulder, but I don't think the referee thought that as well. So now Liam Mullen. This could be the insurance score. He's inside his own half. That's his own 65-metre line behind him. So it's a long, long way. You can add another 10 or 15 metres with the strength of the breeze into his face. He He strikes it well, but it's going to drop a little bit short. A dangerous one though. Goalkeeper in there, Shane Nolan, had enough on that to win the free out. The referee saying that it'll have to be taken once again. Time rapidly running out for Fingallians. Remember, they came in today as favourites in this game. They won by 7 points when these two teams met in the group. That's nice hurling there. And the referee's blown for full time. Well, Fingallians are complaining about that. They think perhaps there was longer to play, but it's a remarkable victory in many senses for Naomh Mearnóg. They've waited a long time for the breakthrough at this level. It's all over. As we said, Terry Carton has blown for full time. Naomh Mearnóg put the disappointment of the 2015 final behind them to finally win the Intermediate Hurling Championship for the first time, and in the process they've overturned their defeat at the hands of Fingallians earlier in this same competition. Well, it was a hard fought second half for them. The difference, I suppose, might have been the fact that Fingallians were down to 14 players. Naomh Mearnóg had 15 players for that second half. They had a very good spell after half time. That's the incident there where goalkeeper Shane Nolan went down, and it was a really good opportunity there for Ronan Lenihan, but there was a tussle, let's put it that way. And as a result of that throw in, Naomh Mearnóg trying to burst forward, win the free. And this was perhaps the easiest one of the day for Liam Mullen. He had no trouble whatsoever with this one. Striking it true and hard. But they worked very, very hard. None harder than Mark Phelan. Now, that was the debatable one. He thought that had gone over the crossbar. The umpire eventually decided that it hadn't gone over the crossbar. In the end, it didn't matter. Another huge one here from Liam Mullen. But good play there by Shane Nolan. And in the end, the ball came back outside. The shot came in from Chris Farley. Went out for the 65, and then the later free from Liam Mullen once again. So a terrific second half into the breeze for Naomh Mearnóg. Wins this intermediate title for them. Danny Lynch was very, very good on this one after the pass in from Eoin O'Connor. He was brought down. It was a strong run. And while Richie Hennessy put it over the crossbar, those last few opportunities, that was a really good score there too in the end from Shane Howard. They had the opportunities, but they simply couldn't make them count in that last few minutes. So disappointment once again for Fingallians. They've had their disappointments, by the way, in football over the years, especially at intermediate level. They lost 3 intermediate football finals in a row, and that was 2012, 2013 and 2014, and really that was heartbreaking until eventually they won it in 2016. So this team certainly wouldn't want to give up on winning this title. It'll go down as one of the shortest intermediate hurling championship on record. 63 days in total from first whistle to last, and that's beginning to end. July the 18th it all started. September the 9th, that's the last date. Today of course, sorry, not the 9th, the 19th I think it is today. And it was a sprint, not a marathon in this competition as well, as Naomh Mearnóg, socially distanced, make their way up into the stand. It's going to be Ken O'Sullivan, the County Board Vice Chairman and Chairman of the CCC, to make the presentation to Naomh Mearnóg. I'm not sure if we'll be able to hear that presentation, but we can have a good guess as to what will be said, because this is a great victory for Naomh Mearnóg. They worked very hard in earlier matches in this competition. They conceded just 8 points against both St Jude's and St Mark's, but they hadn't been able to repeat that level of tight defending in matches before this. But in the last few minutes here, they held on, and they restricted Fingallians to a goal and 10 points. And even though it was a difficult day with that breeze down to our right hand side, there were a lot of wides there. Fingallians manager is Gary DeLockery. John Williams, the manager of Fingallians and Fingallians, giving their congratulations to Naomh Mearnóg's backroom team there. It's always very difficult for a team to stand and watch the presentation from the pitch or wherever else it is on a day like this. You've played your heart out, it hasn't gone for you, and some words of consolation I see down there for Danny Lynch on the field. Mick Sievers actually is the talking up there just at the moment. He's the county board chairman, but I think the presentation is going to be made by Ken O'Sullivan. And I'm afraid if you're wondering why we don't have sound in that over there, it's that the county board weren't permitted to use microphones in this situation, so it isn't booming out around Parnell Park as it normally would be on celebratory occasions such as this. But we stay with them for another moment, because the all-important time will be when Ken O'Sullivan presents Cian Hendricken with the Intermediate Championship Cup. Alongside Cian there is Shane Kavanagh, the man who got that goal. It probably won't go down as one of his all-time great goals, but nonetheless it'll be a memory he'll have for a long time. He scored a goal in the Intermediate Championship final. And the joint celebrations from Cian Hendricken and Shane Kavanagh, as Naomh Mearnóg, with Mick Sievers on one side and Ken O'Sullivan on the other side, receive the Intermediate Cup. They've waited a long time, and they certainly have a lot of celebrations for this. But don't forget that tomorrow on Dubs TV it's the Senior 1 final, Ballyboden against Coola, and the Senior 2 final, Coola against Naomh Finbarra. For now though, it's congratulations to Naomh Mearnóg, 2020 winners of the Dublin Intermediate Hurling Championship final, on the scoreline of 1 goal and 11 points for Naomh Mearnóg, Fingallians 1 goal and 10.